you so much for staying tuned. It's all about the crimes against humanity allegation leveled against former president of Philippines, Rodrigo Duterte. I'll start my introduction from my extreme left, legal practitioner, public affairs commentator. Join me to welcome Barrister Henry Wanzo. Barrister, welcome to International Forum. Appreciate your coming.
Listeners as well, thank you very, very much. And we'll see it's another opportunity to look at issues from a critical mind.
All right, thank you so much. Well, so very close to him, he is a lecturer in University of Benin. We talk about international relation, international forum, anything about international, of course, local. He's well grounded. To me, he's a prof. I call him the prof because when they start giving you antecedents of what really transpired, you get to know that it's truly a seasoned analyst. Join me, welcome, Don Felix Osareme. It's good to have you join us.
Good afternoon, Wilson.
Right.
Viewers at home, good afternoon.
And joining us via Zoom, he is a perfect gentleman. I call him and I respect and love so much. A political analyst, political affairs commentator. Join me to welcome Honorable Agara Seidubo. Honorable, good afternoon.
Thank you very much. I'm glad to join via Zoom.
All right, all right. So I want to start off from Prof. Felix Osareme. You know the antecedents of Rodrigo Duterte, even while he was a mayor in Philippines, what he did to cleanse the streets of Philippines from drug infestation. And of course, that seems to be his banner when he was campaigning to become the president. People bought into his idea, and when he became president, he made do of his threat, trying to clean up Philippines from the infestation of drug abuse, drug cartel. And right now, we have an international criminal court calling him to come answer for the crime against humanity. What do they say about this?
This is an interesting twist, and it clearly shows element of power politics at the international level. Rodrigo Duterte, as president of Philippines, did a lot with the support of some Western powers to reduce the incidence of drug peddling, drug abuse, and international drug cartels in his country. Now, the scenario should be properly understood. Southeast Asia is popular in the production of opium. It's been a long history that they had in this regard. If we take it back to even before colonial rule was fully established in Asia, a part of what led to the Boxer Rebellion in China, then there was a war called the Opium Wars in that area. It has been a situation where Europe and European entities that have relations with Southeast potentates look at which side benefits them, not the side that benefits these Asian powers. Now, technically, what happened then was that this crop, the Western Europe, they call it poppy, actually opium. It grows wide naturally in either Afghanistan, Philippines, Vietnam. It's a common problem. In fact, it's a crop that grows wide. So it can be cultivated and harvested and converted to drugs. This is the challenge. So from time, Europeans consume these products. Europeans have now seen the deleterious effect that it has on their populace and by extension their economy and their politics. In fact, during the Vietnam War, Americans that came to Vietnam returned mostly as
Addicts.
People that were using this drug, because initially it had a medical value for helping them to assuage their pain, for medical reasons of things such as surgery, and to also control cases of post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD. So we had this use and the misuse that also led to abuse. This has been the situation. And when we talk of Philippines, even in Nigeria today, check the history of most drug trade. It either comes from Latin America or it comes from Southeast Asia. Nigeria is not a destination. Nigeria is a transit point. If you check most of the arrests carried out by NTLEA, they either say that the drugs are coming from Latin America or they are coming from Southeast Asia. And the destination always is somewhere in Europe or America. That's North America. So that is the market. Right. Now, where is the production point? Southeast Asia, where we have Philippines, or South America, where we have countries like Colombia, Chile, and the rest. That's why we talk of the Colombian cartel, the drug laws in Mexico. You also talk of the side of Philippines. We need to set this frame so that people will understand the genesis of this challenge. Now, the Drug Enforcement Agency in the USA normally targets certain areas and attempts to fund and even fully fund their efforts at curbing the incidence of drug manufacture and drug trafficking. So most times, what they do, they will come into the country, give support in terms of equipment and institutional training to officers. But they need the local authority to put in place what we call the political will and the legal instruments to contain this challenge. And this is where Rodrigo's Duterte case will become very interesting. Now, from the perspective of a public officer, he has a duty to contain a scourge that has negative effect on both the youth, the populace, the local economy, and has international implication. And that is what he did successfully. So that is not what is in doubt. It is not the fact that he attempted to curb drug production, drug abuse within his country, and international drug trafficking. The question is the mode and the process.
All right.
That is what is the central issue in this discussion today.
I'll come back to you. Thank you so much for bringing up the frame to get to know the history of the opium, the drug war. Now let me come to Barrister Henry Warsaw. This man made a promise of cleansing Philippines because becoming too much in that region. It's like the people also, they were worried about the effect of drug abuse and the drug cartel in the Philippines. They voted for him massively. And when he entered, to some, it was a massacre of a sort. But it worked. Now, has he really done wrong by cleansing his country from the impact or from the grip, so to speak, of these drug peddlers?
Well, you see, the question is, what is the mode used? Just as my brother here has said, they are not saying that drug is not, the war against drug would not go on. But the issue is, what mode did he use? The people are saying that there is a high level of killing of persons, murderers, users, and some other persons. And they are now saying, were they given the opportunity of fair hearing? Because some of them are innocent. Some of them might not be directly involved in the drug business. Some of them might be persons who were victims of circumstance. And at the end of the day, you have a lot of clean. So the ICC is looking at how he carried out his operations with the police and the vigilante in ensuring that this war gets to the particular level it got to. But look at it again. He has succeeded in achieving his aim. 2011 to 2019, when he was a mayor in Devon. Today, Devon is seen as one of the safest, freest cities in Philippines when it comes to the issue of drug. And again, between 2022 to the 2016 to 20, that he had the opportunity of being the president. Today, he is seen as the most successful president in the history of Philippines, looking at this period of democracy from 1986 till date. In terms of infrastructure, he did very well. In terms of ensuring, in building bridges and other things that the people needed to make life meaningful for them, he succeeded. And again, you will not take it out from the angle that there is this political interest on the point that even the president himself will want to see him out of his way, because there have always been this battle between the Marcos family and the Duterte's family. The daughter is the vice president. You know that. And you see what she said. He said that the father was kidnapped and taken away. And again, the president, just as the man was taken away, he had a televised address where he told the people of Philippines that he was only obeying a legal obligation. The question is, which legal obligation are you obeying? What has you got to do with the issue of... But again, you see, the people they delayed, or it was the president that made the Supreme Court not to take action, because the people has complained, and the Supreme Court was supposed to stop the extradition of the man from the country. But unfortunately, that Tuesday, the man was taken away to Dubai, a stopover, till they now go to the Netherlands, The Hague, as it were. To me, the issue they are looking is the mode, but again, it has a political undertone.
I'll come back to you. Now, let's move straight down to Honorable Agara Seydu. But we've heard both of them. They are saying that this had some elements of political undertone. Now, what do you feel about this? Are you against his method also, or to you, he did the right thing to rid Philippines of the menace of drugs?
Yeah, thank you very much. I will start like this. The man campaigned, and one of his campaign thrusts was we will fight the cartel. And people voted for him massively because they believed that it was necessary to fight that cartel. But let me take it from the very first speaker who talked about America. America is the #1 country fighting the issue of drugs in the world. The Americans set up a very strong committee to fight drugs. So for them, it's a war. They declared the drug cartel as enemy of humanity. Because when you look at those who sell these things or who trade in drugs, they are destroying a generation. And that's where I also want to quarrel with the outgone president of the Philippines, Rodrigo. Rodrigo actually, yes, he did well, having campaigned that he will fight the cartel. But my quarrel of the, so to speak, the civil rights people said he has killed over 30,000 people. Even the official says 7,000. But of the 30,000, I heard about 8,000 are children below the age of 18. And that to me is a serious crime. If you have killed children below the age of 18, I think it's not right. Because that's a very huge number. Philippines has a population of about 110 million people. And to take out 5,000 people who were killed extrajudicially, so to my mind, that is total rape on the people. The war on drugs, the war, it's a very serious global anti-narcotic campaign that America has led over time. And if you remember, my dear brother, Richard Nixon, the American president in 1971, launched this war and declared that any person who deals on drugs by way of selling whatever is an enemy of the people. And that to me remains my view, because once you want to destroy a generation, introduce drugs to the young persons, and it makes them think stupidly and negatively. So it's proper to fight the cartel. But my own with the outgoing president is the number of persons who are young, too young to have been killed in this war. Okay, fine. They tried to explain the crossfire, not as if they were targeted. So if the crossfire is killing as 8,000 people, then to me is not acceptable. Because America themselves is not killing their people. They arrest them. They try to take them out of drug use and consumption. In fact, in the last 50 years, America has spent about $1 trillion fighting drugs. In 2023 alone, fighting drugs. They're not killing their people.
Okay, we are having some serious technical issues. They were able to reestablish contact to go back to Honorable Gara and say Dubois is giving them valid points and Americans don't kill their people. But Duterte did. He mentioned over 8,000 underage caught in the crossfire. But some of these, according to Duterte, are well neck deep, so to speak, into drug peddling. What do you feel about that?
If young persons...
Please, just continue, Prof.
Okay. Thank you very much. I have a challenge with this kind of explanation. It's complicated, and we should be careful. We are treading as if we are in a minefield. Now, this is going to be the contest between public interest and fundamental human rights. It's a very difficult problem to solve. Duterte campaigned on a platform that he was going to rid the cities and the countryside of drug production, drug abuse, and the international drug cartels. Those who have made fortunes from this illicit trade will definitely institute response. They did. Now, we cannot compare the robustness of the American justice system with that of the Philippines. The difference is that America has a longer history of democratic process, of judicial independence and maturity, and they've developed a long-term response plan to managing crisis. And this is why in the case of the DEA in America, they have detention centers, they have rehabilitation centers, they also have a long-term plan for investigation of drug peddlers, drug producers, and it could take maybe 4 to 5 years for them to track a particular baron before they will go for a sting operation and either take the person out if it becomes necessary, or they will shut down the person's operation. They fought against the drug cartels in Colombia The drug cartels in Colombia were sponsoring FARC. That's the revolutionary
rebel group.
arm, the rebel group. They were doing that. Now, in the case of Grenada, they had a similar problem. They went to Panama. They had a similar challenge. So America has gone against some countries. In fact, they had a similar challenge with the drug cartels in Mexico. And they've funded willing governments to eradicate this scourge. But the truth of the matter is that it cannot be eradicated. It can only be reduced. Duterte succeeded in reducing the incidence. And what method did he use? He went frontal and brutal. That is the issue here. Now, there is a tendency for some presidents to believe that their power is ultimate and eternal. That is not true. We must also establish here that Philippines has pulled out of the Rome Accord, the International Criminal Court Statute. In fact, Philippines pulled out of that agreement in 2018. So the country is not signatory to that accord right now. But the International Criminal Court can still issue a warrant, whether you are signatory to it or not.
Okay.
Now, it will not become exigent or contingent on the government of the day to activate and conclude whether they are signatory to the protocol or not.
All right.
That is what happened in this case. Even though the country is not signatory to that, let me allude to what my co-discussant here said earlier, that there's a political undertone. Because over the years, the Marcos family and the Duterte family, they were allies at the time, but they've also gone their separate ways. And even though they've gone their separate ways, there was the initial understanding, because Duterte's daughter is the vice president of Philippines at the moment. Yet, she is the first that cried out that her father was kidnapped. Even though there was a warrant, and the extradition was carried out right in, so it was not extraordinary rendition that he was captured midway or using illegal process. He was taken right from his country, put on a plane, and taken air route to Dubai to the Netherlands, where he is being held in detention. And the man has also openly said that he did not regret what he did. So it is a matter of looking at how he achieved his objective. If you have a headache, do you take paracetamol or you cut off the head?
Good question. What about going to the source of the headache? Someone saying that's what Duterte did. He said, I'm going to do this. He gave a sound warning. And these drug cartels, these youths, these adults in drug business, they knew what he did when he was the mayor. Endeavor. And he came back and said, this is what I'm going to do. So what excuse do they have for still peddling drugs or getting involved with drug cartel, knowing fully well that the president then gave a warning? So why are they so skeptical about the method they use? After all, didn't it work?
Well, just as I said, there is a political on that too. The Marcos will want him out of their way. And once he's out of the way, it becomes a straight movement for them. Because it has been the Duterte family and the Marcos that has held the Philippines hostage all this while. Because, no, it's hostage. It's hostage because I begin to ask. The father, I remember I was very young, I remember the mother. Then they showed the thousands of shoes and all the things they acquired that ordinarily was of no use to a lot of. It was the same Philippines who marched in the street and they were demonstrating, protesting, and asking that they should be chased out of Philippines, which actually do. And later on, they died as it were. The same Philippines have waited for the son to come back and lead them in the same country. So the question then is, how did they get into this problem? But for me, Duterte won before he came into office. And for those who know him, from 2011 to 2019 as a mayor of Devon, he succeeded in reducing the rate of those who were into the drug business, as it were. But again, you find that the international community, certain community, they want to aid, and these drug barons, as it were, in their cartel, they are very rich. They have so much money. They have their allies in different countries where they, meet and make sure that whatever they want to pursue, they pursue it to the last. So I see that part of the political problem Duterte has also borders on this cartel trying to ensure that he is tried for war crime against humanity. But the question there is, what is the crime? People are destroying lives. People are into business that they know that at the end of the day, a lot of persons died while taking it. And a lot of persons are into it. They transport it to other countries in the world, making sure that they do this. They are thinking of the money they are making, but they are not looking at it from the angle of the lives they have destroyed. So if you now say you are trying the man for murder, for crime against humanity, what will you try those who are into the business?
Good
destroying
question.
Lives of persons, especially the young one, because people are saying that people who are under the age of 18 were killed. Yes, they are the most vulnerable. They are those who uses the drug. It's just as what we find in our society here. Our brothers from the north, they take drugs. If you go to Yaro, go to Lagos Street, all the nooks and crannies, all these drug barons are there. What has the government done?
I'll come back to you. Let's move straight down to where on the background say Ijubo is standing by. Methodology which the Duterte used in really bringing his own fusion about a Philippine that is drug-free into the physical realm, so to speak. Can one now deduce from all this that the drug cartel don't really want him back, or else it might just be a second sting to really run them out of business in Philippines?
Yeah, for me, I agree with the last speaker. See, these drug barons are extremely rich. Even those who are in this part of the world, they are very rich people, and they will do anything to fight back. But for me, they are as bad. These are persons who have destroyed a generation. Because once you deal on drugs, and the end users are young people, and you are destroying a generation, and that, to my mind, is a crime against humanity. It's even worse than whatever we consider as the most heinous crime. So I agree with that when it was fighting. But my only area of disagreement is the number of young persons who, to my mind, were maybe in the firing range and were killed. So if it's being tried in that direction, okay, fine. Because so many persons, according to what we also have read and heard, that they were just too innocent. And the law says that a man is adjudged innocent until found guilty. These young people, some of them were just going to usual petty jobs, and they were shot at. And that, to my mind, is not good. America declares drug barons as enemies. In our fact, as terrorists. President Trump just signed an executive order declaring drug barons as terrorists. So that, to my mind, that shows how bad, how terrible this is. Yes, Duterte did very well as president of the Philippines. If he had restricted, like one of them said. Yes, America has gone beyond where the Philippines are now because they have looked at all of this before, and now they don't just kill. They try to look at you, try you until you are found guilty. But they don't even kill you. They don't even rehabilitate you. America is at the point at which, oh, these persons, let's take them out of drugs. What do we do to keep them safe? Because in America there are too many drug users, too many. You find in train stations, bus stations, persons who are acting. One day I was so scared that I was in America. I was in the train, and the guy seen by me, and the way he was acting, it was clear to me he was a drug addict. But again, they could just stab him in the train. I agree that the war should be fought holistically, but not killing everybody who have not been tried. You just suspect them and you shoot at them. Officially, they say it's 1,000 people, but human rights is about 30,000 people. That to me is a huge carnage. So I only hope that they will look at it from the other, use a very civilized eye to look at who did well as president, because the Philippines agreed that they will support him to fight the drug war.
All right.
That was voted for him.
Now,
That extent,
I'll come back to you, Honorable. I'll come back to you. Now, if the people are in support of his action, and very few of these barons are not in support of the action, do you think that the ICC should have led to the crowd of people saying that Philippines was better off when Duterte was in charge in the fight against the drug lord and, of course, the drug baron? Or don't want the Philippines to be like Mexico, where Claudia is finding it so difficult to even curtail the drug cartel. But Duterte did, so do they have the right to question his method?
We cannot use a blanket argument to say that his method was perfect. It wasn't perfect. That's the point I established. I said there's a contest here between public interest and fundamental human rights. What's the public interest? Curtail the incidence of drug abuse and drug peddling. What is the fundamental human right? A man, by rule of law, is considered innocent until his guilt has been proved by a competent court. Once you shoot that man on basis of suspicion, that is extrajudicial killing. And this is the problem we are facing in Duterte's case. In Duterte's case, the argument is a lot of people were killed extrajudicially, and he is being accused of murder and crimes against humanity. The same humanity he is trying to save from the scourge of drug abuse and drug peddling. Majority of the young people that died could be considered as collateral damage.
Collateral damage?
Yeah, collateral damage, because either they were in the wrong place at the wrong time, or they happen to have been either fresh users, or they are even couriers, drug couriers. Now, sometimes you call them drug mules. Now, where are the actual barons? They are operating in the background. Most of the time, they are not known. But in high society, they are very prominent. And because they are in high society, they have a lot of resources. They can swing the instruments of power in the state due to their connections, both at the national, local, and even in the international level, to gain leverage. In this regard, we must not run away from the fact that even as a former president, Duterte should have been insulated. But he's not being insulated. This is the political angle that my co-discussant mentioned. Because if he took these decisions in the best interest of his country, but a lot of people died, can he be allowed to get away with it? And when you said just now, rightly, that people voted for him massively, they liked him, the public accepted. Who is crying about the extrajudicial killing? It's the same public. Some people will still tell you that, oh, I know he did well, but this person should not have been shot. So it's a thin line you are treading between public interest and fundamental human rights. And that is what the ICC is holding on to, that the cases of extrajudicial executions far outweigh the number of those that were tried. For example, in a country such as Malaysia, it is written everywhere, don't do drugs. Penalty is death. But they don't just shoot somebody, they will still try you. If you go to most of the hardcore Asian Islamic countries, you are told, Saudi Arabia is one, you take drugs, you'll be killed. So you have been told up front. But they still have a legal process that they will subject you to. Now, in this case, we are looking at a transition situation where a president came in, he had to rid the country of his scourge. He had the support of the populace. That is also factual. But we are looking at, as you rightly pointed out, the methodology. It is severe. I raised the question, if a man has headache, there are two solutions. If you take paracetamol or any other analgesic, it will take time. The drug will work. But there's a very fast way, which is instant. You just remove the
chopping off the head.
Yeah, but then the person will not be alive.
All right.
Okay.
All right, but in this case, the Philippines, they felt the impact of what Duterte did. They appreciated him. But once upon a time, in Court of America tried to congratulate Rodrigo Duterte, they had issues with him with the method he used. And he said, using the word, I don't care about what you're talking about America. This is Philippines. This is the way we know how to do it. And it worked for them. Placing these two on a pedestal, do you feel that International Criminal Court, do they have the moral standing, if you want to go by morality, or the legal standing to even abduct, because they don't say the father was abducted, and be brought before the Hague, knowing fully well that this is a global issue, knowing fully well that this is a global problem, and if the chain is caught in Philippines, it is going to affect the supply of this drug baron, hereby aiding the war against drug trafficking globally.
Well, the truth still remains that the man has done well. The man has done what he knows how to do best. When he was a mayor, he succeeded. And before he came into office, he made his people understand, I am going to continue from where I stopped. I am not going to relent and allow my people to die from drug usage and drug trafficking. The people know the consequences. I know of a truth. It is death sentence. So the people will not claim they are not aware of. The question is the method. From the eyes of the international community. It's the international community that is crying, oh, this is a case of what is it called?
Humanity to man?
Not man.
Or manslaughter?
They are looking at crime against humanity. The question then is, which humanity? What crime has been man committed against the human? Is it not the same people who has committed crime against humanity, destroying generation, destroying lives, not only in Philippines, but other parts of the world? Go to Iyaro, go to Lagos Street, go to Ring Road, go and see my brothers and sisters dying every day. See what they are passing. So I don't understand what the ICC are pursuing. The man used the method that was best for him in the situation he found himself. The people, the question, who are those people coming to testify? What are they going to say? Okay. That the man killed their father or killed their mother that was a drug baron, or their brother who was a user, that their life was destroyed, that they want to come, oh, why did he kill him? So the question is, the ICC is just acting a script that has been drawn by certain persons in the international society.
All right, our time
coupled
is
with
up.
the president of
Our time
Philippines.
is up. Our time is up. In fact, we exceeded our time by 3 minutes. We have to call it a wrap right now. Maybe, just maybe, subsequently, we'll come back and revisit this particular topic. Other Bagari say, Duboy, you have just 30 seconds to give your concluding remark, please, about this particular situation.
Last speaker said, you see, those who are protesting are those who are suffering from the unbearable pains. Mothers are crying. Mothers whose children were killed. They're the ones that are protesting, actually. And too many of them are ready to go and start to protest. So it's not a question. My pain is the young persons who, like, crossfire. Oh, fine. They were victims of circumstances. Fine, but that is the real matter.
All right.
Explain how those ones were killed.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. The children will be like they're all drug dealers because really they were caught in the act. Maybe they were users, peddlers, or they have this connection with the chain of this drug barons. Well, we are going to revisit this topic again because really there are so many things. And you think that ICC is going too far against an innocent man in court that won the best for his country? That's the question left for people to answer. We'll do it again next week, Tuesday, God willing. Bye for now.